Hi everyone, my name is Erin Black. I am 19 years old and I am disabled. I think people automatically get nervous or uncomfortable when I see that. Like there's some lingering feeling of hopelessness or sob story, but I just don't think that they understand.
Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease is a disorder in which my brain tells my nerves in my body to do something, and they don't always listen. I cannot do everyday things that other people, I think, sometimes take advantage of.
I want empowered to be the first word that comes to people's minds when they think of me and my story and my life narrative, and not in some cringy, inspiring way, but in a way that is like, wow, she knows what she's doing here on Earth.
I really don't have much room to complain about my life thus far. I've been able to pursue my dream career in public speaking. I've befriended some of the country's best doctors, and I've actually had the opportunity to study all things surrounding disability more deeply at a top-ranked program in the country. However, I also think there's an element of my life that I do a really good job hiding. And I think because people don't see that aspect of disability, that they sort of romanticize my story a little bit. It is 2 a.m. exactly, and I've been trying to go to sleep for the past 4 hours, and I'm having nerve spasms every 20 minutes. My feet cannot settle down. It feels like knives are stabbing my feet. It feels like the insides of my bones are not able to settle down and are completely fired up and causing me a ton of pain. I'd be lying if I said I didn't just sit in the car for 45 minutes and have a mental breakdown about doing aquatic therapy and clinical trial today. I have no energy to get out of bed because my body hurts and I'm so tired. And I just am so mad that no one sees this element of my life. I just wish people saw that having a disability is exhausting. Being chronically ill is exhausting. I think above anything else, I am most proud that I do not find a need necessarily to overcome or eliminate disability from my identity. Actually, I'd say if anything, I have found ways to kind of coexist and let it empower me to bring light to disability necessity.
To be fully transparent, society owes a level of accessibility to the disabled community. I know personally they owe a level of accessibility and access to me and to the millions of other young adults that are living with disabilities on the planet.
So why did you personally decide to support the ADA?
And the bottom line was, I felt that a lot of people with disabilities could be wonderfully productive citizens if some of the laws were changed. And so it was an easy call for me. And besides that, I had a wonderful team who had deep convictions on this subject. And the result was the ADA.
I personally have really grown to struggle with systematic issues in our country and in the world that relate to people with disabilities. I think it's something that needs to be talked about and recognized.
Update to anyone that thinks that universities are accessible. I'm literally going to miss a class that I'm supposed to be at because the building was not accessible enough for me to get into, and I showed up 10 minutes late and to this thing that I needed to go to, and they said, no, you can't come in because you're too late.
It really got me thinking, what do I want people to remember my life by? What pattern do I want people to know? And the short answer is emancipation. There was a man by the name of Thomas Cowser who we recently have been reading in my disability narratives class. And he thought of this concept of the 5 rhetorical patterns of life narratives. There's triumph, horror, spiritual compensation, nostalgia, and emancipation. Now, I think over time, my life narrative has woven to be, or I would hope it has woven to be, a passion of emancipation.
Hauser states, the rhetoric of emancipation is not the function of removing or correcting impairments, but of getting the world to accommodate to them. In other words, not seeking to overcome disability, but rather adapting surroundings to seek disability accommodation, if you will.
I guess when people hear my particular story, I want them to see the impact and the potential change that I, as a human, have on the society around me, so that they not only better understand Charcot-Marie tooth disease, but they also better understand my identity as a young adult living with a disability in 2020.
For the younger people today, I want them to have a vision which is dramatic, that really allows them to look at making the same degree of changes.
Accessibility and constant societal growth isn't optional. We as humans need to constantly strive to better our neighbor and to better the atmosphere and the culture and the daily life of someone we love or someone we barely know. We as humans are responsible for making this society a more just and fair society for our children. This really is just the beginning, and I want my children in the future, and I want all my friends and my family and my peers to understand what the passing of the ADA 30 years ago did for us, but more importantly, what those people that started this movement of emancipation, I want everyone to know what that did for my life and so many others' lives.
And most importantly, I want to be known as one of them. I want to be known as someone that taught others that the disability is not the problem, but the society and the lack of accessibility and education is. So before you tell me that you're sorry or that my life has been ruined by my disability, let me correct you in saying it has brought me the greatest gift I've ever received, a life purpose.
You belong in a boat out at sea. Sail away and kill off the hours. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away and find you a